Tonight on NXT we have Asuka versus Nikki Cross in a last woman standing. Hello fans, this is Voeltz on behalf of OneWrestling.com, and I'm here today to bring you the nuts and bolts of NXT June 28th, 2017 edition. Our show tonight is commentated by Percy Watson, Nigel McGuinness, and the returning Mauro Ranallo. That is big news. Some of the highlights tonight involve the Velveteen Dream versus Hooloon. And this was finished by a savage elbow by the Velveteen Dream off the top rope for the pinfall. We saw a contract signing between Heavy Machinery and the NXT Tag Team Champions, Authors of Pain, with, of course, Paul Ellering. In addition, we saw Hideo Itami versus Oney Lorcan, but right from the get-go, Oney Lorcan hits Hideo Itami with a vicious European uppercut, breaking open his nose, causing a match stoppage. Luckily, only a short time later, after a short break, Itami comes back out to the ring and the match is restarted, and it was a very physical matchup from the word go. Ends with a GTS by Itami for the pinfall victory. Then he calls out Cassius Ohno to continue his apology for previous actions when Sanity comes out and attacks both Cassius Ohno and Hideo Itami. So watch for further issues between these two sides. From there, that brings us, of course, to our main event of the night, a last woman standing match between the undefeated NXT Women's Champion Asuka as she takes on Sanity's own Nikki Cross. And this is what we saw. First of all, here is the tail of the tape, right off the presses here. Asuka, the 5'3" from Osaka, Japan, debuted in 2004. And her signature move, of course, is the Asuka Lock, formerly known as Kana or Kana, depending on your pronouncement. She was trained by Yuki Ishikawa, and she's taking on Sanity's Nikki Cross. 5-foot female from Glasgow, Scotland, debuted in 2008, so Asuka definitely has the 4-year elder statesman experience advantage here. Now Asuka was trained, or sorry, excuse me, Nikki Cross was trained by Robbie Brookside, Finn Balor, among several others. She was formerly known as Nikki Storm before hitting the NXT front. This is what we saw in this main event here. Earlier they showed some footage of Nikki Cross jumping on the moving vehicle of Asuka as her car was en route to the arena. So this was sure to be a very personal rivalry later on. And that's exactly what we got in this last woman standing, which meant there was no disqualification. We saw everything you can think of. Trash cans, we saw several steel chairs. The crowd really appreciated the efforts from both of these female athletes. We saw Cross power bombing Asuka outside the ring on a pile of chairs, and we saw Asuka superplexing Nikki Cross off of the ladder on top of the commentating table. And this is where the matchup ends by Asuka just barely beating that 10 count to win not only the match, and not only remain the NXT female champion, not only remain undefeated, unbelievably, but in this main event this week, she was indeed the last woman standing. That was it for tonight, folks. Now looking at next week, we have Roderick Strong as he finally gets his championship opportunity versus none other than the NXT champion, Bobby Roode. Once again, several matchups in this 1 hour time frame for NXT. That's something I would like to see the other brands take after. NXT continues to focus on the in-ring action, where most of their drama, most of their storytelling is told within the confines of the match. If that is your style of pro wrestling, then NXT is your place to be. Until next time, stay up to date on all your pro wrestling needs and your one stop for everything to do with pro wrestling. That's onewrestling.com. Once again, folks, I am T Voeltz, and we'll see you next week for the nuts and bolts of NXT.